Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm reviving this series, man, editing my subscribers' photos. This is super cool. I really enjoy this. It's really awesome to see a lot of other people's photography and their builds. So can't really ask for more. So we're gonna get right into this. We got so many submissions. Also, if you guys are watching this and you'd like to submit some of your raw photos to be edited on here, please check out the link in the description. That should be the first one to a Google Drive folder. Just upload any of the raws there and you will be featured on an upcoming episode. I'm going to be doing these at least every Saturday. If I get a lot of submissions, I might do them twice a week, but I think we're probably going to limit it to one. Also, make sure you put your Instagram in the description so that way I know whose it is and I can give you guys credit. So today we're going to do 4 of them. And without further ado, this shot was by Mr. Dan DXMERS on IG. So definitely I'll put his handle on the screen here, but it looks like we got a nice 370. It might be a Nismo. It's a Nismo front bumper, but a lot of people will do that on a stock one, or on a base model, I should say. So to save time, we're going to go through the presets, see if we have that one right there slaps. Let's straighten this out a little bit. I'm a big fan of shooting white cars. It's just super easy to edit. You don't have to really worry too much about reflections, which is a major plus. You get rid of the clarity because we don't need that. I've found that texture does a better job versus clarity. So little tip there. Let's see what else we got going on. Same thing goes for vibrance. I'm a big fan of having vibrance versus that. For the tone curve, I don't really mess with it. A lot of people do the S curve. I don't know. Just depends on how you're feeling. Let's see. I think we're gonna warm this one up just ever so slightly. I mean, to be honest, just for one click and very minor tweaks, like I would argue that's almost done. But I know what we can do is actually bring back the sky. It's pretty incredible, these new tools that Lightroom has. I just found out about this probably like a month ago, and it is insane. So we'll bring that back. I think we're gonna warm the sky up. Throw a little magenta in there. Dehaze is super good on skies. You just want to make sure you do it within reason, because if you do too much, they'll start to get kind of crunchy. And then also big fan of doing the linear gradient on the bottom, just to help draw the audience to the subject itself. Let's zoom in here nice and sharp. Let's see what this was shot with at a 35mm at f1.4. Nice and sharp. I feel like I've seen this car before. I wonder if you're local. But yeah, I mean, there we go, guys. That's kind of a quick before and after. Cropped it 4:5 for Instagram. Since you shot in portrait, I'd imagine that's the look you're going for. If we wanted to go for absolute perfection, I'd go into Photoshop and remove these. But you guys don't want to see that. You know how to do it. Or if you don't know how to do that, I could do a YouTube tutorial on that. But there we go. Nice shot. I think this edit's clean, making sure that the car does look white. It is definitely an accurate white. We can go a step further and really dial that in if we want, but I would say that looks true. Now next up, we got this shot. This is a 370Z that's bagged. He's local. I'm gonna have to pull up your IG. I'm spacing it at the moment, but I will have it up on the screen. Now he did tell me that this was an iPhone shot, so with that being said, we are slightly limited on what we can do with this image. So let's see if we have any of my presets that will do a good foundation to work with. Granted, no preset really is perfect, even though the last one I just used honestly kind of slapped. So the thing with this color is that it definitely has some magenta in it, which makes it tricky, because a lot of times I try to desaturate magenta because it's typically associated with chromatic aberrations. So we're just going to set this all back to 0, and I am not vibing with that whatsoever. So let's try that. This is a tricky one. Yeah, this color is very unique. It's like almost like a ruby red. Let's get rid of this gradient though, because that is super obnoxious on the bottom. Even though the new iPhones are actually surprisingly good when it comes to shooting in RAW with them, they do retain a lot of detail. Let's see. And also let me know, do you guys want me to do like commentary over this, or would you prefer if I just shut up and did the edits? You'll have to let me know, so that way in future episodes I can do whatever you guys please. Whoa. So you can see in the sky here, guys, it's blue, then it's going green to kind of like that magenta purple. So that means that we're really pushing these colors to its limits. Let's check a little before and after. We're going to keep tweaking this, but we're getting somewhere. It's looking good. Blues are a little heavy on the windshield, so what I like to go in and do is I can do this, a radial gradient filter, and I will just drop the desaturation on that a little bit, and then I typically will drop the shadows, and that way it's not as blue. So you can see in this picture it's still pretty blue, so you can actually just warm it up with the temperature slider, and that's looking much better. Again, let's see where we're at. I'm digging this. I'm trying to make sure I keep this as accurate as possible. Still on the hood, you guys can see it's a little purple, which is kind of odd because I don't know why, considering our purple slider is all the way over to red. Well, oh well, only so much you can do. I think it's just because of the iPhone color science, we're starting to lose some information there. Another thing I usually do is I will go in here, same thing with the radiant filter, or radial filter, sorry, and I'll bump up the shadows just ever so slightly to get a little bit more detail out of the wheels. These Nismo wheels are actually fire. I didn't realize how much these go for, but there we go. I think for an iPhone photo, I'd be pretty pleased. We could actually just bump up the exposure ever so slightly. Let's bring some of the highlights back. Make sure we don't have anything blown out. We're good. And I would say right about there, we're doing pretty solid. We could go in here and we can desaturate the ground a little bit, but I think that's overkill. Actually, what we can do, let's just go back to this one right here. Let's warm up the ground a little bit because it's looking a little blue. We want to try to match it to the rest of the ground. So we'll add a little bit of more magenta to it. And right about there is looking good. So there we go. For an iPhone shot, definitely not too shabby. Very, very nice. Again, thank you for submitting your photos. Now, this one, shout out to my boy. This is Hunt for Horsepower. He's located in Minnesota. Super, super talented guy. And this is a sweet looking Huracan. Those wheels look freaking huge, man. Those gotta be like 21s. Now, this is like a root beer color. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a car in this color. Vossen wheels, that's sick. I don't know if you purposely did that, but the logo is like totally straight up and down, which is fantastic. I always forget to do that. Nice photo. This was shot at 50 millimeters at f2.5, so nice and sharp. And I'm cropping this one 16:9 because this would be killer for like a print. And ooh, baby, oh my goodness, baby, right there. That is looking sick already. Let's do a little before and after. Little cool, but I'm not gonna lie, I am somewhat vibing with the cooler vibe there, the cooler tones. Let's bump it up a little bit. There we go. Now, this is gonna be an interesting color because there's really not, I'd imagine it's gotta be orange. Orange is what's gonna be a huge factor on this. Let's see, I mean, I'm already kind of digging this. We're gonna do my little trick here, darken the shadows. Also, we can go in here and try to pull out some detail. He did expose this really nicely, so there we go. Can pull those up. Wheels look awesome. Let's check the before. Looks like we'll add a pop of vibrance on these. You don't want to do too much because then you're gonna alter the color. But we'll actually just add a touch of saturation and then a touch of contrast. And then to save time, we'll just duplicate this and we'll move it on over. Make sure you adjust it so that way it doesn't roll over onto the car. That is looking fuego. I'm digging this already. Again, a little before and after. I love that actually, you know what we can do here? These headlights, we can try to darken them up ever so slightly to match the other ones. This color, it's almost, I mean it is, I think I'd argue it's impossible to try to color match this here because this looks like he was using a CPL, and this color, it just almost, the camera wants to make it look black. There's no way we can get that color back on the hood, but still super, super sick. Another thing I'd do is I'd go into Photoshop, we'd remove this. But man, oh man, that looks so good. This like scenery is gorgeous, dude. Is this in Minnesota? Actually, we're going to crop this up a little bit because I want to get that mountain ridge up here. Mountaintops. Oh, man. I would kill for that. This scene right here is sick. Get a little pebble. Go in here. Boop. And we'll just do that. The little healing tool or brush or whatever the heck it's called. That is phenomenal. Here, actually, I'll show you guys. We're going to load this one into Photoshop in a second, and I'll show you how to remove some of those objects, those pesky things that get in your phone or in your photo. But yeah, this looks absolutely stellar. I would post this in a heartbeat. He did a super killer edit on his. Check out his page. All right, guys, almost forgot. End of the video, and I realized I didn't do this. So we're in Photoshop here. Sorry for the weird crop. I have this screen crop for Lightroom. But what we're going to go over here and do is we duplicate your layer, go over here. I prefer to use the patch tool, and then we'll just do a nice outline. And we'll go up to, you can't save it, we go up to Edit, Fill, or you can do the keyboard shortcut. I suck at shortcuts. And that did literally an awful job. All right. Well, this video just took a little bit of a turn. Let's see. Well, maybe I'll keep this part out of the video because this might take a little bit of time to do. Nope. Well, so in this instance, what I would do, and I'm going to save you guys the time, is I would go in with this guy right here, the clone stamp, and I'll give you just a little taste. We'll go over here, and you just start brushing in this stuff over here. I think you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. That was cringy, ignore that. And you guys are seeing this. Same thing with the grass. We'll come over here. Make this a little bit bigger to speed it up. Now, typically you would want to find a little bit of different textures. You don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over. But for the sake of time, this realistically would probably take 20-30 minutes for this one photo. I mean, if you zoom out, there's no way you're going to be like, oh, that's photoshopped. And then what we can do, go back in with the patch tool. This should actually work a little bit better now, because when there's too many colors and contrast, it sometimes doesn't know what to do. Let's see if it does a better job this time. Not perfect. We can come in here and drag that around. Let's see what it does. Oh my gosh, I'm making it worse. All right, let's try fill again. See if we can try to make that look a little bit more organic. There we go. Zoom out, bada boom, before, after, before, after. And we would definitely tidy this up ever so slightly. So we'll go in here. I don't know why that did nothing. What is it doing? What is it doing? I don't know why it's not doing that. You should be able just to go. Okay, there we go. That's super weird. And boom, good enough. Post worthy. I would change this up though, because this is a little obvious. So you could probably like drop the opacity and do different things. But yeah. You guys get the idea. There you go. Now I saved the most difficult for last. This is awesome. I think this is Millennium Jade, if I'm not mistaken. But R34. This one was submitted by my buddy Terry. Come on, why is it not popping up? Terry Goins, or Terry TERRY _ Goins GOINES 9. Check him out on Instagram. Yeah, this is gonna be super cool. And what does that say? What badge is this? Is this like a? I think it says tuned by something. But nonetheless, super sick. Let's see what we can do with this one. I don't ever really shoot green cars, so I have no clue if any of my presets are even gonna like look halfway decent on this. There we go, guys. That's a winner. That we'll start with this one. First of all, let's get rid of that. Get rid of all the mask. Little on the pink side for me, so let's go to, let's cool it down a little bit. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Let's actually, we're going to brighten this up quite a bit. Usually I wouldn't bump the exposure this much, but I think for this photo we're going to need to. Let's get rid of the clarity. We don't need all that. Dehaze, that's probably another reason why this photo needed to be bumped up in exposure, so we can bring this down. White balance on this one's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get. Let's see. Real quick, 35 millimeter f2.2, nice, nice, nice. You know what, isn't there like a, here, let's see what it does for the auto white balance. No way, that's way too warm. All right, let's stick with this for now. Let's go in here, make sure our color wheel, perfect, blues are good. Let's bring back, there we go. Yeah, the teals I figured would make a pretty big difference on the Millennium Jade. I'm almost positive that's what this color is. Has to be. And I've never really seen this color in person, so we're gonna try to make it look accurate. You guys see what it's doing on the intercooler when I move this? That's weird. So, you must be, oh, it's probably 24 megapixels. Guys, I'm so used to with the A7R2 and R3 that I can zoom in and like at 200% I could still crop in and it'd be like tack sharp. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is still good. It's just the resolution is different. But let's see, make sure greens, here we go. I think Millennium's more slightly yellow. I mean, that's looking pretty good. I mean, this was underexposed quite a bit. Nothing wrong with that. I prefer to underexpose rather than overexpose. Easier to get back more detail. I still think it's missing something. What is it? I mean, the sky's relatively blown out. We can pull it back, but I don't think, based on the original exposure, there's really no details up there. So I'm not overly concerned if we blow it out. Typically though, if you have like a beautiful sunset or clouds, I would try to then properly expose. And let's, you know what, for fun, let's see if there is any details, but I don't think so. And it's gonna probably mess with the sign ever so slightly. Okay, so I mean, there is very little detail, so right there, just enough. And then we're actually going to make it a little bit cooler. I think we'll actually dial it back. There we go. That's looking good. I mean, for before and after, vibing. So CPL, nice job on the front. The wheels, we could probably, looks like they're a bronze. So let's add a touch of exposure. And then I've never really messed with this slider all that much. All right, I take that back. I'm, yeah, not a fan. We'll just bump the saturation. Bada boom. Guys, I mean, that right there, I think that's fantastic. Where is this? This is, oh, there we go. NASCAR. That's sweet, dude. Super, super cool. I would post this in a heartbeat. show you guys a little before and after. So yeah, there we go, guys. Thank you so much again to everyone that submitted the photos. And if yours were submitted and you didn't see it in this episode, you will be in next week's episode. This is super, super cool. I'm hoping you guys can learn a thing or two from this. Oh, we almost messed up. Hold up. We caught ourselves. Let's do... There we go. All right. Yeah, vibrance over saturation. So thank you guys again. I really, really appreciate it. This is really cool. And I will catch you guys in the next episode. But don't forget, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe. We're so close to 1,000, guys. We're 14 away. 14! So close. I'm excited. I'm going to do some sort of big giveaway. Nonetheless, guys, I will catch you in the next episode. Peace out, guys.